All right, hello everyone watching on YouTube, and hello to Great White, the guy we're going to be reviewing today. It's gonna be an 1100 elo game, and I really want to do this one for YouTube as well. I haven't seen it actually, but just because the elos are 1100, I feel like a lot of people struggle around this elo. And truth be told, the last rec review got a good amount of views on YouTube, so I figured you guys deserve another one. And with all that said, let's go ahead and hop right in. So this is one of my Patreon members. I just want to say a big shout out to Great White because like I had so many issues with past recs that just broke because of the new patch. And then I was like late on some things because I was traveling. And he's just been a champ, just pushing through and just sending me new recs whenever I needed a new one. And now finally, hopefully, this one is on a good patch, and we're gonna review it and hopefully give him the best advice that I possibly can here. So, with all that said, I just want to give props to our fella here. Let's hop in. Let's give him props before we roast the shit out of him. Uh, Starting off with a minor mistake here. So if you just pause and take a look at this map, right? I'm going to hold you to a higher standard here. You're a Patreon member. You're not just blindly going to the first woodline that you see. I want you to think a little bit more about how you're going to set up your map. And if you set up your map here with the lumber camp here, okay? Let's just imagine a few things. So this is based on entirely what you see, okay? So we're going to go ahead and bring out the pen here. And let me see if I can do it like this. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. So let me just empty that. So we have the pen. All right, we're lumber camping here. But I just want to say that we have a much better option back here. Now, why is it a better option? We have a gold in the front here, and if we wall, how do we wall? We wall here, maybe down here. Could be a good angle. We can wall here. Could be a decent angle as well for our wall. The problem with doing those two things is that your opponent can position archers here, or even here, and range a wood line. He can also position a tower here, or even a tower here, and hit both your gold and your wood with one tower or one pressure. And on top of that, it's at the front. So if your opponent is coming in from the front, he's just going to come straight here. He's just going to target your woodline right off the bat. If you lumber camp here at the back, he's going to have to travel much further to get to there. And it's going to give you extra time to defend. And you're going to see him come in because you're going to be positioned up here on the front. So for all of those reasons, it's way better to take the lumber camp at the back. Now, if you take the lumber camp at the back, obviously we don't see everything right now because we don't have full vision. But it's going to be a lot easier to set up a wall here and only have our gold that's rangeable, which is manageable, and then have a safe wood at the back that we can securely take. I know it's a really small thing that you might brush off as like, hey, whatever, it's not a big deal, but it's actually really big. And if you get punished on this forward wood line, I will be angry. I will be upset. And you don't want me to be angry and upset. That's just horrible, right? That's not a good thing. All right, next we go 3 on wood. So this indicates to me that you want to go for a minute arm rush with the Bulgarians. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I like that. I want to give you another small tip actually, as you're a bit late with the board, but it's okay. When you're taking the wood line like this, all right, this villager can actually diagonally chop this tree, and this villager can diagonally chop this tree. What that does is it lets you take the inner trees and have more trees that you can take without actually having to move and without having any walking time. So it's just a nice little tip that you can do for your initial few trees. Really helpful in build orders that are a bit tight. So here we're a bit late with the board. Not a big deal. I know you know this is a mistake, so I'm not going to point it out or anything. Although that's a little bit of a mistake. You should always try to kill your boar in the center. You could have actually paused your bill to kill it in the center. Even if it takes a couple extra hits, it will actually survive. So you could have easily got a nicer boar kill if you had just let the bill tank a little bit once it was close. So again, all of these little mistakes happen in Dark Age. And the reason why I point them out is because they probably happen every game. Right, every game you're not thinking about your lumber camp. Every game you're having some inefficiency. I'm sure it's happening every game. Also, 21 seconds idle time. Probably happens something like that every game. And that's what I want us to fix first and foremost. A house out here. I don't mind the position, but yeah, it's not bad. It's part of a wall, so I'll give it to you. Another house. A lot of beginner players love to do 2 houses on the front at once. I think that's good. I like that. Thumbs up from me. Makes things easier on you guys. You don't have to remember that next house. I think it's good. Pretty messy. Like a lot of walking time on the animals. My advice to you as well is like if you have 2 dead animals, sorry, if you have 2 dead animals on the same at the same time, it's not the end of the world. It's better to have 2 dead animals, like just eat a sheep, than have all this walking time and bumping and whatnot. So yeah, in my opinion, you're like making it a point to not kill more than 1 or 2 animals, but yeah, look at all this walking time that we're having. Just kill a sheep, bro. Just sacrifice a sheep for the community. It's gonna be a lot better for you. And here we go. So we're gonna get punished immediately for our like lumber camp position and our building position in general, because now we're building very close to our gold, very close to our lumber camp, and we're gonna for sure get ranged by archers or skirms at some point in this game, right outside these two important resources. Because look how we're walling. We're not gonna give any buffer zone for these key resources. All right, so you got up at 20 pop, which have minute idle TC time. I'm not gonna lie, Great White. All right, I'm gonna take no responsibility for this. You will get flamed in the comments. All right, you will get flamed in the comments, and honestly, you probably deserve it because a minute idle TC time, a lot of bumping and whatnot. You're gonna get 600 elos in the comments that say I'm 600 elo and I play better than this guy. How is he 1100? That's gonna happen. All right, and like I said, you probably deserve it. Use that as fuel and motivation to improve your Dark Age. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna go for a minute arm forward. I love the strategy. It's so much fun to do this. Some very nice anti-meta. Couple things. Now, if you're gonna do this with Bulgarians, you should take 10 gold initially. All right, and make your third militia before you actually move out. Okay, so you should take 10 gold. Don't make a mining camp. Just long distance it, and then move out with 3 men arms. That way, you don't need to make a mining camp on gold, and you can just focus on your forward with the 3 men arms at the same time. All right, it's much stronger to do it that way. And if you do it that way, it's actually a very, very good strategy. Highly recommend it. In fact, I might make a build order on Patreon for that. Yeah, the Bulgarian men arm forward. I think it's a really, really good beginner to intermediate strategy, actually. Very good for like anti-meta players. And we have a Twitch subscriber offline. That guy's coming from YouTube. Love to see it. And so this is what's happening. Like, look, you just lost a men arm basically for free. You did get some HP on the scout. But basically, your rush is a lot weaker now. Because it's very disconnected. Like, look, you have one men arm here. Doesn't want to die for his country. All right. Excuse me. Very nasally. Recovering from his sickness. I apologize. So yeah, this guy does not want to die for his country. That guy was way too eager to die for his country. And the third one is MIA. Like, you haven't even recruited him yet. And then the villas are just sitting here. It's already 12 minutes, bro. All right, you're late for class. What's going on here? We need the tower yesterday. So overall, this rush is super disconnected, and it loses so much power. Like, now you're just sending 6 bills to your opponent's base. Bro, I'm not excited about this anymore. You know what I mean? Like, oh no. Okay, good job microing against that spear. But yeah, like, what's this rush? You know what I mean? Why even pick Bulgarians? Let's take Berbers. So that the 6 bills we send to our opponent's base, they move faster at least. You know what I mean? Lost a lot of power with that men-at-arm situation in the early game. But they're coming out. So, like, your idea is good, but the execution can use a lot of work. Now we're going to drop a tower against Byzantine. So he's going to have the advantage in the tower war. So we have to keep that in mind. Alright, that scout's down the drain. But that's okay, kind of. Because you still get some pressure with the situation. And honestly, look how much damage you got with 1 men-at-arm. You killed a villain, a scout. If you had 3 from the get-go, and you did this, you could have killed multiple villagers and been in a very good position. So I will insist, the strategy is very good, but this execution has been very far from perfect, alright? So again, this tower, we're going to lose it. We shouldn't try to hang on to it, so you should abandon it as soon as you can, so you don't lose too much trying to keep it alive. And yeah, like, this is a good time. You just killed an archer. If you had a few more men-at-arms, I can see hanging on to it could work, but here I think it's wishful thinking. Yeah. Killed another archer. It's not horrible. Gonna lose the villain exchange. I just don't see a world where we don't lose this tower, so I would have preferred if you just abandoned it early and cut your losses. Yeah, so we're gonna have to abandon it. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. That's more of like a higher level thing to, like, have that foresight. So I don't actually mind that mistake too much, and you end up just running away with the 5 bills anyway. So here's my take on the situation. Again, not a bad idea, but very poorly executed in the sense that you had a lot more potential than what you actually got out. When you started fighting, I think you actually did a very good job, okay? So you're fighting, you did a good job, but you didn't set yourself up for success, and that's where the poor execution really slowed you down, all right? Now we're going to go ahead and try to recover from this, which is super doable. You're actually up a Vil still. Down some res collected, but, like, the game is still playing. So how should we proceed from here? My opinion is we should probably try to, wall up is good, and try to play towards Castle Age, because we lost all of our Feudal Age momentum. So that's my opinion. And then maybe we should defend with a range, because your opponent's on archers. So something logical like that feels like a pretty good idea to me. All right, just something basic, you know. Maybe defend with some skirms and then, you know, go to castle and maybe go for like Krepos plays or some kind of all-in could be interesting as well. So it looks like you're doing that. I'm going to fast forward because, yeah, there's going to be a lot of like waiting. At this point, you're actually playing well. I like that tower, so you're getting kind of ahead of the situation, defending your gold. All right. I like the full walls as well. I like the stable as well. Opponent's now up to castle age as well. Okay. 2 stables. Okay, interesting. I don't mind that. So 2 stables follow up. Pretty good. Now, we have a few options. So, in my opinion, we should open with some kind of all-in. Because we're mining a lot of stone. And mining a lot of stone and then just booming doesn't make sense. So, in my opinion, we should just spam knights and then try to play for forward Krepos. That's like a good idea that I have in the next few minutes. The only thing you have to worry about here, like higher level strategy. Like higher level strategy, this would never work because your opponent just goes Byzantine camels, which are super cheap and controls the game. Lower level stuff, so like pretty much anything outside of like anything below like 2000 elo, I think momentum plays a big role. So if you just build up some momentum and then go for some Krepos forward, I think you could actually win the game like that. You decide against it. You decide to go for a town center. Fair enough. Not a wrong decision, but I think it would be a lot easier to use your stone that you've been playing towards. All right, like if you're gonna go for town center, I don't know why you played for the stone. That doesn't make any sense because now we have just 700 stone sitting on our stockpile. Okay, why can we not win this fight? You have no bloodlines. I still think we could have won that fight if we just took it. We're gonna run back to the TC. That should be pretty good. Ish. You can fight those guys under the TC, by the way. Yeah, nice. That's pretty good. All right, fair enough. So we're just kind of developing, getting some eco upgrades. I mean, I'm not unhappy with the situation. But again, if we're going to go for the boom style, yeah, let's commit to it. Yeah, 30C, it's good. I see you already thinking about a pikeman transition down the line, which is interesting. We can definitely use that. But really, like my biggest thing here is that you've got the 700 stone. Your opponent now has a 25 vil lead because he just boomed. And that 700 stone is doing very little. So we're kind of doing the same thing as our opponents, but we're not really... we're not really... It's not going to be a favorable position because we're doing it later than him. So we're not really staying in the same range as our opponent and giving ourselves a chance to win the game. Our opponent's not going to go for a very interesting castle on the right side. Might as well make it on the hill, no? Fair enough. I'm going to go for the 4th TC, okay. While picking up some relics. So, my suspicion here is you probably lose this game and you don't realize why you were so far behind. I hope you can see it now upon this review that your opponent just gets to a really fast 3TC boom because he gets to castle age before you by like 2.5 minutes. Remember, on Patreon I have a whole video about getting to castle age faster than your opponent and why that's the most important thing you can do in any given 1v1. I need you to refresh on those, videos and those ideas, because if you're later to castle, the suggestion that I give is to always push your opponent or always do something different than what your opponent is doing. If you're later to castle and you do the exact same thing your opponent does, which is booming, it's never going to work out for you. All right? So take a look at the rest collected. Now we're down like 6,000 resources, which to put it in perspective is like 2 or 3 times the Imperial Age technology. So your opponent can go up to Imp and then up to Imp again if he wants to. Just take a look at his resources now compared to yours. It's a nightmare, right? Let's see. The game goes on. The game continues. And yeah, we're still playing against camels, which is fair enough. Now, we're up to Imp, or about to be up to Imp ourselves. We have to start thinking about what we're going to go for. But before we even do that, take a look at our situation. Like, we want to play food units, but we have no food. What you want to be doing is you want to be spending this resources. Like, I always say this in rec reviews, more than 1,000 resources in Castle Age, if you're not planning to go Imperial Age, it's a mistake. You have more than 2,000, alright? This is a huge mistake. How do you spend it? Boom, 10 vils off this. Mill, farms. Buy a bit of food, go up to Imp. That's how you want to do it. And you are doing it. Like, you are getting some farms down. Just a little late to these things, okay? My goodness, opponent's getting devotion and murder holes. Those are like 2 opposite technologies. He's really preparing, I guess. Alright, yeah, it looks like he's setting up cataphracts. Oh, devotion's paying off big time here. No, he gets converted anyways. But devotion, I swear to God, devotion's such a useless upgrade. Like, if you think about it, Imagine you get devotion, you get converted anyways. I only get it versus full monks, in my opinion. I never just pick it up like that, just randomly. Opponent's not gonna go heavy camel. So yeah, let's think of a comp that we can go for. So first up, we have to go imp for sure. Like we're still not imp, which is insane. But a good comp we can go for is maybe like Cavalier Halberdier, or maybe like yeah, maybe like Halberdier plus Halberdier plus some kind of cavalry is like a good idea, I think. Yeah, we're actually taking good fights, but again, the lack of Imperial Age here is really starting to come up here because we're not able to ever click because now we're distracted fighting, and I'm just fast forwarding through this because I don't see a winning move if we're not up to imp. So if I see an imp click, I think we're gonna be slowly getting killed here. Yeah, still no imp again. 5,000, 6,000 wood, and yeah, now the game is over 100%, right? Completely slipped from our hands, and the main culprit here is the resource spending, for sure, like 100%. We're now up to imp. Let's see if maybe we can, somehow come back here. I think you're doing a good job taking fights. Taking fights, you're doing well. But too many things are collapsing at the same time, like just left and right, Also, for playing on defense like this, I highly recommend ballistics. Actually, it's a really good upgrade. For your buildings, even if you're not playing range units. This one is now on Logistica. Wow, okay. That's a pretty good upgrade. Yeah, now we call it the GG. So, again, if you're watching this, you're like, okay, I got wrecked. What happened? But I really want to highlight that we didn't really get wrecked that much. Well, I don't know, a little longer. Oh, fake GG. Smart. Oh, he canceled our imp. I don't see the hope. I don't see the vision. I do not see the vision. Let's just fast forward a little. Okay, so yeah, obviously it didn't work out. Makes sense. Now let's review exactly where it went wrong. So obviously the rush, we covered what went wrong with the rush. All right, let's leave that one. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Okay, let's go to that moment in early castle. So opponent clicks up here. We don't know he clicked up. All right. Now we know our opponent just hit castle age, and we're 2 minutes behind. Now, from this position, and pay attention, guys, this is super important. Like, honestly, this is one of the most important things. This is what decides most games. It's like any elo is what we do in early castle age, all right? So your opponent has a few options now, all right? He can either boom, add TCs, and just develop his economy. He can either push you with 1 TC, maybe siege, maybe forward castle, some kind of push, some kind of aggression, crossbows with ballistics, whatever. All right, or he can just play some kind of like relic control where he makes a monastery, maybe 1 extra TC in a monastery and takes the relics. Okay. Now, if your opponent is pushing you, you're gonna find out in the next 2 minutes. Okay. So, okay. Actually, let me explain it this way. If your opponent's pushing you, you can't boom. Okay. If your opponent's booming, you can't boom because you're 2 minutes late. So it's not gonna work. And if your opponent is going for some kind of middle ground where he's taking the relics and booming, you also probably can't boom because then you're gonna be late to the map control. He's still gonna get a good economy, and you're gonna be down the 5 relics. So in no situation can you actually just boom being 2 minutes behind to cast it. It's not going to happen. It's impossible. All right. So what you want to do is you want to go for a 1 TC opening. So you had the right idea adding the 2 stables. All right. And you even had the right idea mining the stone, but you just didn't use it. So again, here we invest 700 resources into stone. Look at this freeze frame here. We're down already 800 resources. We have 700 resources here that we invest into stone. If we don't use the stone right now, that means we're down 670 stone, and we're down to 800 resources here. So we're down so much if we don't use it. All right, so instead of booming, what we should do is make a bunch of knights, maybe some spears, all right, and then walk 10 vills forward and drop crepos. 1 crepos here, 2nd crepos here, and give yourself a chance to win on 1 TC. All right, if you're later to cast age, almost always you have to do something like this. Okay, I'm like extremely nasally and I'm pissing myself off at this point, so I apologize if that was annoying to listen to, but hopefully this was still a good review for you guys to get better at the game, and hopefully this can help change the way Great White is, playing these games out Again, I don't mind the rush. Don't stop doing this rush. This rush is good. Just get a bit better at the Dark Age. Clean this up. A bit better with your early game choices like lumber camp and whatnot, base building. A bit better with your execution on the build loader, and you have like a lot of resources on Patreon. And then after that, just get a good follow up in Castle Age, and you should be golden. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and then come on down to the Patreon if you guys want to be part of these rec reviews or part of all the other guides I have to help people get better at the game. And as always, hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.